everyone. In the previous class, we had a broad overview of dynamic system. We learned about a dynamic system and what are the different classes of dynamic system based on certain attributes. We learned that the class of dynamic system that we would deal in this course comes under linear time invariant causal single input single output dynamic system. Additionally, we learned the different definition of each of single word that we use along with word system. That is, we learned what is meant by linear system, a time invariant system, a causal system, and so on. And then we look at what is meant by open loop system and closed loop system. We also look at the concept of feedback, and we drew a basic layout of closed loop system with feedback, and this is where we stopped. Okay, so we are going to continue from the point and discuss a few more concepts that would provide a big picture view of this particular course before we go into mathematical preliminaries in next lectures. If you recall, for us a system is an entity, okay, to which we provide an input ut and we get an output yt. If we want to regulate the value of the system output yt around a desired value or in a desired region, what we do is we give what is called as reference input, which is denoted by rt. Please note this, that in this particular course we are dealing with dynamic system. Time is the dependent variable and all other variables are function of time. Okay, so time is the independent variable in this system. We see that the input, output, and the reference input in general can be a function of time. We measure this output and then fed it back and compare the value with the output, that is reference input. So we get an error et. Okay, and the error is the difference between desired value of the output and actual output that we obtained at each point and every instant. So we pass this error through an element called controller, which then calculate what should be the input that is needed to be provided to the system so that it can follow the desired output rt. So in another word, controller is the block that take in the error between desired and actual obtained output and then calculate what should be provided input that need to be provided to the system. So when the controller calculate the system input and provide it to the same, the function ut is then called as control input. So this is a broader visualization of closed loop control system with feedback. In this case, it is called as negative feedback. The reason why it is called as negative feedback is because the summing junction. This is the summing junction where we are comparing reference input to output. Okay, so here we are taking difference between rt and yt. So this is called as negative feedback. There can be various other attributes that can be added in this basic closed loop structure, and that is something which we are going to look at now. The path where we go from the controller to the system and then to the output is called as forward path, and the path where we give the measurement of output back to the summing junction so that we can calculate the error which is then goes to controller is called as feedback path. Okay, so and in this feedback path one can have other dynamic component which may be needed to be modeled depending upon system. For example, one would typically use a sensor, okay, to measure a system output. Then one may need to take into account the dynamic of sensor that is used. In another word, there is additional attribute called sensor dynamics that may comes into picture in this feedback path. What does we mean by that? Suppose we want to control the temperature of air in room. If I use a temperature sensor to measure the temperature of air in room, that sensor may have its own response characteristics. In another word, if you use the sensor to measure the temperature at this instant of time, it may not show temperature value instantaneously. The correct value of this instant of time may show after a certain response time, which need to be characterized by what is called as sensor dynamics. Okay, the question that we need to ask ourselves is, when we design this closed loop control system, is that what is the time scale of the sensor response which regards to this time scale of system response. Okay, so for example, if system respond in a matter of second, and if I have a sensor which can be provided accurate measurement in matter of milliseconds, then I may not need to worry about the sensor dynamics. On the other hand, if system responds in matter of seconds and the sensor has also a corresponding time in order of seconds, then I may need to incorporate the effect of sensor dynamics. So sensor dynamics may come into picture when we consider the feedback path, and the corresponding an additional element component called actuator may comes in forward path. So what is actuator dynamics? The controller calculate the control input and provide the control input to the system, but we need some element to physically realize this control input. For example, suppose we want to drive a car autonomously. So let us consider the task of steering a car. Okay, so the angle which is provided at steering wheel is the input to the system, and the orientation of car can be considered as output from the system. Now if I want certain orientation of car, then I design a controller to calculate what should be the steering wheel input that should be provided at each and every instant of time. Now how do I realize the calculated control input in practical? I may put a motor at steering linkage to rotate them by a desired angle where whatever the controller calculates. So let us say at the instant of time I want the steering linkage or the steering column to be rotated by 40 degree. Now the thing is, wherever I achieve that 40 degree steering angle instantaneously, the answer may be most probably no. If I use a motor to rotate steering column, I gave a command. Now it may take some time before which the steering column may be actually rotated by control input angle of 40 degree. That aspect or that attributes need to be characterized as actuator dynamics. So actuator dynamics essentially incorporate the response characteristics of an actuator that take the controller's control input and realize it in physical world. So one may need to consider actuator dynamics. Once again, it is all relative. If actuator responds very fast when compared to system dynamic characteristics, then one need not consider actuator dynamics. On the other hand, if system respond in a matter of seconds and actuator also responds in matter of seconds, then one need to be consider actuator dynamics while modeling the entire closed loop system. That is something which we call as realize. So sensor dynamics and actuator dynamics become important when we design these closed loop control system for real world applications. What are the other attributes that we need to consider in block diagram? Most often we can have disturbance coming into play. So disturbances are essentially unwanted which affect the system output. For example, if I am driving a car and there may be some cross wind which is blowing on the road, which can act as disturbance, and this may try to change the orientation of car. So although in the ideal world I want the orientation of car to change only when I turn the steering wheel, a strong wind can create a disturbance which can potentially lead to change in car orientation. Now how does one consider the effect of disturbance and account for them? This is the question one need to ask when designing this closed loop control system. The effect of disturbances may play an important role, and we have to design a controller that is robust enough to these disturbances. So these are some elements that we need to consider in feedback diagram. If you recall the classes of system that we have considered fall under single input, single output, casual, linear, time invariant, dynamic system. Okay, it so happen that if we want to model this class of system using mathematical model, okay, that take the form of linear, linear, ordinary differential equation. Okay, so if we want to model the class of system, this class of system using mathematical model, they take the form of linear ordinary differential equation with constant coefficient. Okay, the mathematics that we use in this course would compose of related topics. So we will brief recap ordinary differential equation, complex variable, Laplace transform, and so on, that one typically learn in a course involving ODE, or ordinary differential equation. So depending upon how one goes about analyzing these ordinary differential equation to study the system response, one could have two representation of this mathematical model that characterize this class of system. If one use Laplace transform, then we get to know that this is transfer function representation. What is known as transfer function representation? So this is the representation we would predominantly use in this course. On the other hand, I do not apply Laplace transform to the governing equation, but I stay in time domain. Itself, and then I rewrite my governing ODE as a first order differential equation, and then we get what is called as state space representation of this class of system. Okay, in this course we would learn both the representation. The Laplace transform take the function that is essentially a real value function to take a real value function and convert into complex value function in complex domain. So predominantly we are going to look at the transfer function representation. All the analysis and control design is going to done using transfer function representation. There are few more concepts that we would discuss with respect to the general closed loop control system. Let us write down as a set of points. So first is depending on what is the mapping in the feedback path. Okay, we have unity and non-unity feedback. What is unity feedback? If this mapping in feedback path is unity or its value is 1, then it is called as unity feedback. We would have a mapping in feedback which are going to represent a corresponding transfer function. If we have unity feedback, that particular transfer function of feedback path would be 1. The second point is that if it is 1, then it is unity feedback. If it's not 1, then it is non-unity feedback. The second point is that as far as course of control system is concerned, any design of control system have two important aspects. If I am designing a controller for a dynamic system, I always need to focus into two important attributes. What are they? The first one is stability and the second one is performance. Okay, so all of us can get a very initiative idea by looking at these terms. Okay, so for a control system designer, stability is paramount. That means we need to design system that is stable in first place. Then we essentially look at the performance characteristics and try to design controller so that their performance could be improved. Later we are going to carefully design stability and performance, define stability and performance, and also identify quantities and parameter that would essentially be utilized in quantifying our performance characteristics. Okay. So for example, if I am driving a car, I give a steering input. If the condition happen to be such that my car may spin out of control, so one should initiatively call that scenario as the car being unstable. A stable response means I would want the system response to as we desire in a very finite range of for a finite input which is given. Okay, so what is performance? Performance can essentially be visualized through how fast the system responds. For example, I am designing one steering system and someone else is designing another steering system for the same car. Let us say both of us give the same input to the steering wheel. My car is able to take turn faster and more accurately, then I would say that my steering system is performing better than better for that particular car. Okay, so we would use notation like these to come up with the parameter that can quantify the performance of dynamic system. So these are the concepts that give us a big picture view of what we are going to learn in this particular course.